Cool. So you're joining this session because you have an interest in math, or maybe you have an interest in making math a little more fun. And so this is all about visualizing math through animation and music. So you kind of want to, with this session, it's like a pop in, have fun, create kind of session. So there's two different lenses you can look at this through. You can look at it as a way that you can create something for your students to present math in a fun way, or you can look at it in the view of, hey, how can my students be creators of this? So they have this cool tool, this iPad, where they can be creators now more than just consuming the information. So if you're comfortable just creating for yourself today, totally fine. If you want to kind of view this as students being creators, then totally fine too. So it's all for fun. So we're going to be thinking more about like the process of this and how do we make that animation happen. And we love hearing from you as an expert of how can we bring this into the class and the curriculum. So we may give you ideas that might be like kindergarten level or might be above, but how can we connect it to what we're doing today? And we'd love to hear from you too. All right, let's jump to it. I have a little video clip here of a class back in the good days when we used to be in class of a lesson that I did with math and music. So it's pretty entertaining. Let's watch. All right, so that was a group of third graders and they were working on fractions. And I said, hey, music has a lot of fractions. Let's try something out. And so the teacher was willing, no experience in GarageBand whatsoever. We sat down and kind of went over some of the fraction parts of music, and then we co-taught this lesson together. And it ended up being a lot funner than I thought. And I mean, the kids were engaged. You saw them like bouncing around, going to the beat, and it was just a really fun lesson. And I know that it brought out that fractions, like, hey, I can visualize fractions now. So it's kind of cool to see that piece hand in hand. And this is what we used. We used what's called a beat sequencer. Are you guys, has anyone ever used GarageBand? A little bit. Awesome, Dolly. I honestly, GarageBand was the hardest badge for me, first of all, to earn as an Apple teacher. And it took me a couple years to get into it. I honestly was like, I'm not a musician. I have nothing to do with music, and I don't know how I can create it to make a difference for my students. And it wasn't until this lesson that I saw being done with a third grade class that I was really like, hey, this is kind of cool. Students are moving, they're being actively engaged, and maybe I should look into GarageBand and the capability it has. So once I had that mindset, I was like, oh my goodness, I love GarageBand. It has so many cool tools and things to do. So I really got into it a lot this last year. But this was one of them. It's called a beat sequencer. And we can see that it has made up fractions. This one was a little more advanced. It was the lesson I did with third graders. Although, like I said, it was a little more advanced than the fraction bars before, but it was really cool because they got to use different instruments in this lesson. You can see here. Okay, so let's start with this one. This is a kindergarten class, and they were doing simple addition. So we were creating a song.
0 plus 1 is 1. 0 plus 2 is 2. 0 plus 3 is 3. 0 plus 4 is 4. 0 plus 5 is 5.
Cool. So I can imagine this like in a remote setting Everyone come off mute. Let's try to create a song together, or maybe like in a little breakout room or something. This one was beat counting.
0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30.
It goes on to 100, but we created a little beat clap in GarageBand, and then we recorded our voice over it. So that's an idea as well. There's lots of ideas, and I'll come back to these at the end if we need to. But these are taken from the Everyone Can Create music book, and those books are available in your self-service to download. So I took these ideas from that book, Everyone Can Create Music. And so this is from the Early Learners book, which is skip counting, which is what I did. And then 0 plus 1 is 1, 0 plus 2 is 2, learn to the beat. And there's also ones that are in the upper grades. And what we'll look at is that fraction one here. So let's dive into GarageBand and start creating. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and go into GarageBand. And when you go in, it should look something like this. And I'm looking for the plus sign up here. And we should be on something that looks like this. You might be in live loops. Let's go ahead and go into tracks and look for drums. Okay, when you find drums, we're going to look at the beat sequencer. And so it's the third one across, beat sequencer. All right, so right away we see that we have these, I call them fraction bars. There might be another term for musicians, but to me they look like fractions. So it's as simple as just tapping and you create a beat. So we can see here, we can create any type of beat or just play with it. If you all just want to try that and either create fractions or create a beat, go for it. Yeah, I mean, it's as simple as that. Just creating them, you can create them in front of kids. You can have them go in and go to GarageBand and create with you. Some other little features of this is down below, it says Modern 808, and you can actually change the different drum kits. So there's some other drums you could play with.
All right, cool.
If you just want like a little brain break for students, then they could just, go in and tap whatever they want, make a beat. There's this randomizer here that creates a beat for them. And hey, what beat did you make today? Anything? Sorry, my beat doesn't sound good because sometimes over Zoom there's a little delay. But even better reason for the students to be creators, right?
Great. All right, awesome.
Yeah. I'll give you just a minute more to play with that and then we can see what we can do with it. But I'm gonna go ahead and screenshot this. And when I catch it right away, then I have the ability to mark this up. So now students can really go in and say, hey, I have to use my pen, and mark up what this is. So, oh look, 2/4. We have here 4/8, which equals 2 or 3 wholes. So they could go in and really, get that connection piece of this is what fractions sound like and look like, and now I want to, explain my thinking or show my thinking. So screenshots are nice because they save right to your camera roll and they could submit that straight into Canvas. Now a screenshot won't have the music part of it. So something that you can do is set up the screen recording on your iPad. So if you haven't set that up already, then let's go ahead and set it up. It will be under your settings. And on the left side, we are looking for Control Center. And then on the right side, screen recording, it's set to default to be down below with the green plus sign. If you just hit that green plus sign, it'll come up to be included in your Control Center. So you want it to look like this, where it has the red minus sign and has screen recording. All right, so now back in GarageBand, I can swipe from the corner of my iPad, similar to when we AirPlay. And I have this little icon that looks like a target, and that's my screen recording button. So it records anything on your screen, and then it saves it on your camera roll. One thing you do need to do if you want to make sure and get that audio piece is you need to hold down this button and make sure your microphone is on, or else it won't get any voice or any music. So when you're ready, you can start recording. It doesn't let me do that while I'm screen mirroring, but if I wasn't screen mirroring on Zoom, it would let me. And it'll save as a video into your camera roll. Have I created any questions yet? Anything I need to repeat? Cool. All right, so that's marking up and screen recording. That document is still coming through, so if anything, I can email it to you if I need. It's just a one-sheeter. And we have 5 more minutes, so the next 5 minutes I want to show you how to use the audio recorder. And this is for if you want to create your own music with students, your voice, change it up, make it fun, add some beats to it, then this is a place to go. So I'm going to go ahead and tap on this paper, and that allows me to see all my recordings that I've done. A couple things before showing you the recorder. I can share this out. So if I hold it down, I can share it as a song. Oops. I might have to go to, oh, I didn't record anything, that's why. So I have to record something first. Now I should be able to share it. Okay, so I can share it out to my files. I usually share music to files, the Files app. Or you could share it to any of the apps you have here, put it in your Drive, wherever you want to put it. There's my Files app. Cool. So let's go ahead and try to create an audio in 5 minutes. Same way, plus sign. And this time we are going to look for audio recorder. Once we're there, let's go to voice. And right now it's in the studio. This is great for like little podcasts. If you want to create a little podcast with students, Studio has lots of different controls. But the fun part is going to fun. And you have all these different filters that can be used. So sometimes students don't want to record their own voice, but they think it's so fun to record in a squirrel voice. then that's an option here. So yeah, go ahead and try recording something. You can mute me. And I like the extreme tuning because it kind of like enhances your voice a little bit. But there's also other fun ones too. So I'm going to try to record counting by 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And we can play back and see. A little glitchy on Zoom. I'm looking at my Zoom settings because it said advanced audio options, and I might be able to help with that audio because you could see it's kind of a delay and glitchy on Zoom. So if you go to your audio settings on Zoom, you might be able to have better feedback. I just noticed. It says suppress background noise, and this includes dogs barking. So I'm clicking that. So we have our beat sequencer, we have where we can record. Let's try to put those two together. And I'm gonna go ahead and go to this view up here. It looks like a Tetris box. And it shows me all the different instruments that I have. So right now I just have a voice recording. I'm gonna go ahead and delete that because I think it'll be easier to start with our beat. So I'm gonna go ahead and add a beat first. And I'm just gonna do something like this. That way I'm gonna count by, I wanna do a count by activity. So I'm just gonna record about 8 counts of this. And stop. And then when I hit this Tetris, it shows me that I use the beat sequencer and my little beat there. But I do want to add an audio with that as well. So I'm going to go ahead and, if you missed it, I hit the plus sign at the bottom. And I'm going to go ahead and look for that audio. And I'm going to try to count by 5s and try to hit that beat each time. Let's use robot, I get. Oh, megaphone, bullhorn. Let's see what we get. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. It's a little off because there's a little delay in Zoom, but you get the idea. And we can view that. Let's see how good I did. My 0 or 5, whatever that was, didn't really hit the beat, but I could kind of get an idea and play it together. Let's see. 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. I'm improving at the end. But yeah, kind of building that little beat and that background music. It was so cute. I got an assignment in computer class the other day where a student turned in some audio and he was singing in Spanish, a little Christmas song. And he just added it to his project and it was just like the funnest thing to watch. So it's a little more fun to grade as well when you have those enhancements. So those are the 2 things I think are the easiest things in GarageBand, but there's a whole lot of other things and instruments. And if you have any ideas to share to the group, that would be awesome as well. But I say GarageBand, you just play with it and learn and try things. You can't mess it up. My favorite fraction activity is that one with the fraction bars and doing that. I taught 3rd grade as well, so I love fractions. But yeah, if you wanna have me come in your class and we can co-teach together or show them some stuff on GarageBand, even just as a brain break, it's good too. So, did I create any questions?